But Charles Darwin was not some lame-brained atheist who just wanted to believe that God wasn't true for his own selfishness' sake. He was a very plotted and intelligent man who investigated these things out. And in the end, he came to this idea of evolution. But he understood it himself only as a theory, and even stated that in his book, Origin of Species. Here's a quote: "If it could be demonstrated that any complex organ existed which could not have possibly been formed by numerous successive slight modifications, then my theory completely and utterly breaks down." And so, an American biochemist and professor at Lehigh University did just that. He proved that in some cases, there are things in creation which are absolutely irreducibly complex, meaning that no matter how you try to spin it, that thing is simply too perfectly created to have slowly improved through a theory like evolution. He proved it impossible. He used the eyeball to officially prove evolution impossible. But for the sake of time and just ease, we could use a mouse trap, right? If you have a mouse trap, it has 5 parts. It has a little plank, a little spring thing that holds the thing. It's got a little lever thing. So just a mouse trap, very simple contraction, not the human eyeball or anything. One of those pieces away, it's just junk. It's nothing, right? And so it could not have just evolved into a perfect mouse trap. There had to be a designer who sat over that wood plank, put it together perfectly, those 5 pieces, to do that. Now, that's a very small level. I'm talking about this man proved that the eyeball is 20,000 parts, light reflectors and pixel grabbers, and incredible what's in the eyeball. 20,000 perfectly cohesive things that help us to see life. You take one of them away, it's a ball of mush, it's nothing. He proved soundly, through irreducible complexity, that evolution is completely and utterly ridiculous. So Professor B, he proves unequivocally that the human eyeball could not have slowly evolved anything because it was created and designed absolutely perfect. And to take one little piece away from that would be garbage. But he even noted that there are elements of the evolutionary theory that could be possible within a species that is already perfectly created. It's called microevolution. It means that if a salamander whose family you place in the desert, over time and many generations may begin to have thicker skin or sand-colored skin or whatever, because it points to a perfect creator who creates something that can adapt to its situation. That is microevolution, and very, very scientifically sound. But that salamander will not evolve into an elephant because it'd be better for his environment. It simply doesn't happen. It never has. There's never been proof, ever, never, never. Darwin also states in The Origin of Species that if we are not to find significant evidence of in-between species as the years go on, then his theory is utterly faulty. And here we stand 154 years later without a single shred of evidence of evolution in the fossil record. Only those fossils that display that microevolution like we just talked about, right? Scientists on both sides of this argument admit that the fossil record is the blaring black eye to evolution. Professor Stephen Gould from Harvard University says this. He says, the absence of any fossil evidence has been a persistent and nagging problem to evolution. If there is no evidence scientifically to prove a scientific theory, I'd say that's more than a problem. You know what I'm saying? It's no longer even a conversation we can have.